The UK is a nation with a deep history of resistance. Even during World War II, when an invasion seemed possible, Churchill had a plan to turn Britain into a guerrilla warfare nightmare.
We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall never surrender.
I find the most, biggest stronghold of the UK is actually when they say the resistance will come from the people.
Welcome back again to the channel. Today we are going to be checking out why invading the UK is nearly impossible. Okay, let's get right into today's reaction.
A country surrounded by water, rich with resources, and packed with history. Who wouldn't want to own a piece of it? The Romans did it. The Normans pulled it off. But in modern times, not a chance.
Yeah, a lot of people wanted to have
The Romans did it.
Oh yeah, especially the sorry, I will still go back to
Normans
mine.
are Vikings, right?
Yeah, the Vikings.
Yeah,
I think, come to think of it, Denmark, the video Last Kingdom, like a lot of those Vikings then, I think back at the 9th centuries, they actually invaded the hell out of England at that time. So now seeing that even at coming up to a clearer century, the Romans were there and some other people as well. Wow.
I never really knew that the Romans conquered.
Romans were actually like
Yeah, they conquer a lot.
Yeah.
Plenty have tried, all have failed, and not just because they weren't good enough, because invading the UK is nearly impossible. The Spanish thought they could sail right in, only to get shredded by British cannons and the weather. Napoleon looked across the channel, thought about it, and basically said, yeah, I'll pass. Hitler actually put together a full invasion plan, named Operation Sea Lion. But even the German High Command knew it was a long shot at best, and national suicide at worst. So why is it so hard? What makes this little island one of the toughest places on Earth to invade? Well, let's break it down. First up, the biggest and most obvious reason. The UK is a damn island. This might seem basic, but it changes everything. If you want to invade a country like France or Germany, you just roll your tanks over the border and boom, you're in. That's how the Germans did it in World War II. But the UK? Nope. No land borders, no highways to blitzkrieg through. If you want to get an army into Britain, you need to sail across water, and that's where the problems begin. The English Channel isn't just a tiny river you can hop across. It's 21 miles of open water at its narrowest point. And while that sounds short, barely a marathon, it might as well be 1,000 miles when you're trying to move hundreds of thousands of troops, tanks, artillery, and supplies. And here's the kicker. It's been this way forever. Britain has been using the channel as a natural defense barrier since before recorded history. Even in ancient times, Julius Caesar and the Romans had to plan for years just to pull off an invasion. And he had to do it twice, because the first time didn't go too well. Now add in the weather. If you've ever been to Britain, you know that the weather here is actively trying to ruin your day.
Wait, is that how bad the weather is?
I don't know the weather in England is actually terrible. I would say terrible, but
Was that shot, that video, that guy that was trying to fight through a storm, is he from England?
I think it has to be.
I mean, what is terrible? How do you is it like
heavy rain or
all I know that people always complain that UK is grey, like you know how it's the sun shining, like it's always a grey day. But I don't know like it's extreme like.
wow.
Woke up in a fucking steaming mood, yeah? Because I live in a shithole! It's a fucking shithole! I hate the fucking place! I fucking hate it!
It's completely unpredictable, with rain, storms, and wind that can turn the sea into a churning nightmare. The Spanish Armada found this out the hard way in 1588. They had 130 ships, thousands of men, and a plan to take England. But when they got to the Channel, storms and rough seas obliterated them. The British barely had to lift a finger. Nature did most of the work. The remnants of the Armada limped home, having achieved nothing. Even today, modern warships and transport vessels still have to account for bad weather. Storms can delay operations, rough seas can slow down ships, and fog can wreck visibility, making coordinated attacks almost impossible. So, before an invading force even gets to Britain, they're already dealing with some of the worst naval conditions on the planet. But let's say they somehow make it across. Now they have to deal with something even worse. Britain isn't just surrounded by water, it's surrounded by one of the most powerful navies on Earth. The Royal Navy has been a global force for centuries. Back in the 18th and 19th centuries, it was the most powerful navy in history, controlling trade routes and making sure nobody got close to the UK without permission. Today, it might be smaller, but it's still an absolute powerhouse. At the heart of the fleet are the Queen Elizabeth-class aircraft carriers, massive floating fortresses that carry squadrons of F-35 stealth fighters, some of the most advanced jets in the world. These carriers alone give Britain global reach, allowing them to strike enemies from hundreds of miles away. Then there are the submarines. The UK's Astute-class nuclear submarines are some of the stealthiest in the world. These things lurk under the waves, completely undetectable, tracking enemy ships without ever being seen. If an invasion fleet tries to cross the channel,
I was about to say that since the top of the water is wavy, then under will be like stable for submarines. So like, yeah. Big of things affect submarines now.
Like
It's on the
fish under the
So I
So
think
they have
that,
to go deep.
Yeah.
Not like,
so that I think they will
So now
have
you
that.
have to counter the Royal Marine.
Pirates. Wow.
you can bet that somewhere a British submarine is watching them. And the second they get close, torpedoes are going in the water. And it's not just high-tech ships. The Royal Marines are trained specifically for defending coastlines and stopping amphibious invasions. These guys are some of the toughest soldiers in the world, trained to fight in the harshest conditions, and they would love nothing more than to ruin an enemy's beach landing. By this point, most
I love that choice of word.
Yeah, you know we watched a video that a beach land is terrible.
Terrible.
Because you don't know what you're going to meet, especially when you're going to meet someone that is an
It's in a
expert.
fortified
And-
position.
Exactly, like you don't know what your country. Machine gun will just be flying at you, tearing you to pieces.
I love the choice of word he used there. That they would love nothing more than to ruin your day. Honestly, there are some military words and terms that they use. It just sends shivers to my bones.
Like exactly.
I love that.
invading forces would have taken catastrophic losses. But let's assume by some miracle an enemy fleet actually lands troops on British soil. Now what? Bad news. Just because you made it across the water doesn't mean you get to keep
I'm guessing that this footage is not AI generated.
How can this be AI? This is
It's
real.
so real.
Yeah.
What conflict was this?
It's not a conflict. I think securing their border or something.
No, the border can always be like this. This has to be in a time
The
of
ship security border can't reach that level.
yes.
That many.
Oh, that's even true. I think this is generated because ships cannot, cannot reach there.
Oh.
The depth of this thing
Give
is
the
crush
weight.
it. Yes, precisely.
breathing. The Royal Air Force is next in line to shut down your invasion before it even gets going. The UK has Eurofighter Typhoons, which are some of the fastest, deadliest fighter jets on the planet. These things patrol the skies constantly, and the moment an enemy aircraft enters British airspace, they're getting locked onto.
So they're always
Then there's
flying
this-
constantly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like that's somebody did to their job.
Wow. But actually, it's a denies like
Always on
red.
duty.
You see the sky like.
Every single minute.
Skysaber missile defense system, which can track and intercept enemy missiles and aircraft with pinpoint accuracy. Even
Look
long
at how these things are moving.
That is supersonic missile. That speed, wow.
Are those missiles like do they have like intelligence?
They should.
Because the way
Because the way
it
it
was directed.
It moved because I don't think that was
Yeah,
done by a
yeah.
human being.
Like all these one that can locate the target by
Yeah.
and pursue you as well.
Are you serious?
I think I love those heat
Sound
seekers.
like cartoon.
Oh, heat seekers! You can barely hide from them.
range missile attacks are unlikely to succeed. Britain's air defense network is integrated with NATO's early warning systems, meaning the second an invasion is detected, reinforcements from France, Germany, and the United States are likely already mobilizing. At this
Wow.
point, an invading force has lost most of its navy, most of its aircraft, and probably half its troops. But let's say somehow a foreign army is standing on British soil. What happens next? The UK doesn't have the biggest army in the world, but what it does have is highly trained, highly professional soldiers. The paratroopers, the Royal Marines, the legendary Gurkhas, and of course the SAS, some of the most elite forces on the planet. These guys train in every kind of warfare imaginable. Jungle combat? Check. Arctic warfare? Done. Urban fighting? They love it. But even if an enemy managed to land somewhere and establish a foothold, they now have to hold it. And that's where the real problems start. The British people are not going to just roll over and accept occupation. The UK is a nation with a deep history of resistance. Even during World War II, when an invasion seemed possible, Churchill had a plan to turn Britain into a guerrilla warfare nightmare.
We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall never surrender.
I think he made a speech on what that the 13 hours that said breathing. Like
his
his speech was
Like
the courage in his speeches are always impressive for me.
You be like, where is he going to get this courage from? Like when you feel like just defeat.
Even at the toughest time, they will never back. Oh my god.
If it happened today, every town would become a battleground. And if things really got bad, the UK has nuclear weapons. The Trident submarine fleet is always out there, ready to launch a retaliation strike. So, is there any way to actually pull off an invasion of the UK? Probably not, but let's entertain two possibilities. The first scenario would involve a massive surprise cyber attack, crippling the UK's communication systems, air defense, and power grid before a single shot is fired. This would have to be coordinated with a naval and aerial assault using stealth aircraft, submarines, and long-range missiles to overwhelm British forces before they can fully mobilize. If London were effectively cut off and key military bases were neutralized, a fast-moving invasion force might try to establish control before the UK's allies could respond. But this plan relies on Britain doing absolutely nothing while the enemy prepares. Highly unlikely. The second scenario is more unconventional, but possibly more effective. An internal takeover. Instead of a traditional military invasion, an enemy could exploit political divisions, economic weaknesses, and social unrest to destabilize the country from within. This could involve cyber warfare, propaganda campaigns, funding separatist movements, and even covert operations to weaken the government. Once the UK is in chaos, a foreign power could step in under the guise of peacekeeping, establishing influence without ever needing to land troops in force. But let's be real, both of these scenarios are long shots. The UK's intelligence services are some of the best in the world, and its military isn't exactly sitting around waiting to get blindsided. The truth is, invading Britain isn't just hard, it's damn near impossible. You'd have to fight the elements, outmaneuver one of the strongest navies in history, defeat a technologically advanced air force, and then somehow subdue an entire nation that historically hates being invaded. If you're thinking about it, just don't. Seriously, just book a holiday instead. It's easier, cheaper, and nobody's going to drop a missile on your head.
Actually, for me, I would say it's only when they can come in as peacekeeping, as I said in the video, or a political affair that would make the people within go crazy. Because I don't see no way anybody can invade them, like.
Yeah. Because
they have a good point. Just leave the weather alone, like just leave it to the weather to do its work. That was just terrible, like.
Where me I find the most biggest stronghold of the UK is actually when they say the resistance will come from the people. If you watch that 13 hours that saved the Britain, right? You understand what I'm saying? It was actually, yes, the Royal Air Force was, very vital to everything, but it was actually the people who stood up. They kept volunteering to be in service, even though they saw, like, the funniest thing, if you watch that thing, you realize that it was imminent. Like, they were 2 steps away from being wiped, like from losing that battle, but because they refused to give up, and that is the biggest thing in every battle.
Why would you give up when you listen to a speech like that? Why would you give up?
Such as speak.
You speak on the face of defeat.
Never. Honestly, I think it's quite impossible. And again, when you depend on your ally as well. So you understand, like he said, when the allies get hint of what is going on, they will definitely send.
And there's no way you hack their system without them noticing.
Yeah.
But then the system is being hacked, they know there's a trouble, like you engage into battle.
And there's always a backup system. Like, I know maybe this is a movie, but I don't know if it is in real life. There was this movie I watched.
It's not a movie, so it should be
exactly. When they hacked their the defense system, they had to now switch to an old system of communication. So I feel like that would be the same thing that will happen. So they will not be entirely cut off, just that the communication might be limited, but not entirely.
But actually, thinking about it, right? They serve a whole systemation. You just think they have to be just one. And the nobody will bring out everything he has to show the world.
Yeah.
Like I will show my attacker how to attack me. Like no, there will be some secrets that other people won't know. And last time I actually worked remotely. Like you get me, so I don't think it just happen like hack it and everything just like wow.
Well, this is our own 2 cents about it, and I hope that the Britain people will not let invasion come to their doorstep.
Many have tried but failed. So you guys, let me know what you think about this down in the comment section. Do not forget to like, subscribe. Love you. Bye.